what drives you in being a dating coach and helping men? What is like where does this stem from?
Part of it is being a good person. Part of it is wanting to help my younger self. Meaning, so I remember when I was younger, I had so many questions about women I just didn't understand. I remember being at school and realizing that none of the girls I liked me, but it was always girls that I didn't like who liked me. And that just blew my mind. Like, why is it never that a woman who I want wants me? And I know the answer to that now, but I didn't know the answer to that then. And for anyone who's listening, it's basically the fact that women like to date up. That's more or less it, just to round it off. But I had no idea about that back then. And there was tons I didn't know. So many situations I got into where I messed things up. And now it's all of that is transformed, and I have so much knowledge, and it is good to give that knowledge back. But then there's also a part of me that's kind of angry at the world for lying to me as well,
Hmm.
and is trying to take revenge slash, like in the Cold War, they had the communist scare, and the idea was that Russia would send sleeper agents into America, and those sleeper agents would be living as Americans, but their whole job was to destabilize the American economy and make America communist.
Hmm.
And you never knew who the sleeper agents were. Maybe it might be the couple or the family next door. Well, I'm kind of doing that as well.
Hmm.
I'm
Wow.
trying to, because there's this war on masculinity and
Hmm.
things like this. I mean, we've all heard it. Well, people like me and you are actually fighting on the front line against that.
Hmm.
That's literally what we're doing.
So true.
And mm, so that's the reason as well.
Yeah, I love that. No, yeah, that's the nail in the coffin. That's like 100, yeah. And now I see where it stems from. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. No, that's great. And that's actually a really good transition. So the topic today is on masculinity in the modern age and
Mm.
what it means to be a man in 2025. So I'm going to open that up in a more like an open-ended question. So if you want to take that and tell me what your thoughts are on that, and then I have specific particular questions to dive deeper into it.
So I would say the meaning hasn't really changed. I mean, of course, if you ask the world will say, yes, of course it has. But I don't think it has. So when you think of things that a man was supposed to do, so the man is supposed to protect and provide. That's like the historical, thing a man's supposed to do. And regular people in society today will say, no, that's not at all important because women work and women don't need men's protection and X, Y, and Z. But even though they say that publicly, women still treat men as though they expect them to be like they were back in the day.
Hmm.
So some woman today who works, she doesn't want a man who makes less money than her. She
Hmm.
doesn't. She wants him to make more than her. Why? So she can feel like she's the dainty feminine one. That's obviously it. If they're walking down the street and somebody attacks them, she expects him to risk his life to protect her. That's what she expects. And if he isn't prepared to risk death to protect her, he's not a real man. There's
Hmm.
going to be very few women who are going to be with a man who runs when somebody attacks them, who are going to say, oh, well, that's okay because it's 2025 and I've got this handled myself. They're not going to say it. So, I mean, the sort of things that people have expected are more or less always there. The thing is, it's like it's kind of lied about now.
Hmm.
So, it is an interesting thing. I've done a lot of dating around the world, like a lot, right? So, I've in the past 5 years, I've spent most of my time overseas. So I was dating a woman, a Syrian woman, who lived in Dubai for like 4 months this year. I've dated women in Brazil. I've dated women in Bali. I've dated women in Bali from all sorts of countries, like America, the Ukraine, Indonesia, tons of countries, right? Tons. Unlike most men have only really dated in the country that they're from. And mate, if they've done a passport bro thing, really and truly, all I did was I went on holiday for 2 weeks, and you know what I mean.
Mhm.
I have got into relationships with women
Mhm.
around the world, and something I've noticed that's very interesting is that all women are the same, but Western women are the only ones that are deluded.
Mhm.
So if I speak to a Ukrainian woman or an Indonesian woman about the differences between men and women and what women are attracted to, they're like, well, yeah, obviously. Now, can you pass the salt, please? Right? Like they're not, it's not news to them at all. It's like, well, yes, yeah, we know. Like, well, like you think you're clever. You're not clever. But you say that to a Western woman, she'll go, but she will react, she'll respond to the same stuff as a woman from Bali or from Brazil. She's going to respond to it,
Mhm.
but logically, she doesn't know.
Mhm.
Anyway, so even though your question wasn't really about dating, what does it mean to be a man? I think it means exactly the same as it always has, but there's lots of like it's dangerous to be a man now in a way that it wasn't before. So when I first got into this, there wasn't like a fear around making the wrong move. So guys were always scared of making the wrong move. But if a man was out on a date with a woman and he tried something and she didn't want it, it would just be he would feel like a bit of a loser. Now today, men feel like if they make the wrong move, they're a rapist
Mhm.
and they're terrible. And so something that's hard is that you're there with a woman, you want the woman, you want to get with her. But the thing that you need to do to get with her is to make the first move. However,
Mhm.
you believe, or should I even say no, that there's a damn good chance that if you make the first move, she's going to hate you and vilify you online and things like this. Well, you know, like the Coldplay thing that happened the other day. Now, granted, that wasn't about a man making a wrong move, but men are worried about that level of
Mhm.
situation occur to them. You're worried about that. So it's like, okay, well, she's a strong, independent, powerful woman. I guess she'll do it for me, right? She'll let me know when she wants to kiss me. But
Mhm.
she ain't letting you know. She ain't letting you know shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if that's answered your question.
No, it does actually. And you actually mentioned a few things in there. My favorite is that you mentioned that what it means to be a man hasn't changed throughout the years. It's just people have pretty much corrupted themselves in believing and accepting ridiculous stuff. When you asked women, actually, no, the difference between dating somebody from different cultures versus just being a password bro or just, dating women from different cultures, but in your same country. I think that's actually a really interesting thing. I've not heard actually any coach even mentioning that. And it honestly, it's so true. The people around you have always kind of like in the same vicinity, same culture, their ideology, especially in the Western world, they're going to be stuck in ridiculous social justice warrior things versus the rest of the world that everyone's like, okay, you're just being clever. This is the way it is. Kieren, is that going to change? Okay,
Mm.
passing the salt. I love that. That was such a good differentiation between the two.